What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today is the new moon in Pisces, a total solar eclipse in Pisces. So it's really a great time to clear any subconscious conflicts or release any addictions or negative patterns that you've had. And it's also a great time to dive into some creativity. All right, I just want to touch on that a little bit. But today's video is actually, we're going to revisit the topic we already touched on before a couple months ago, the top sexual zodiac signs. And before I did the top 6, and mind you, most agreed with me, but then there were some who thought I was bugging because I had Gemini #1. I even got some comments that air signs shouldn't be in the top 5, and that's ludicrous. But just to let you guys know, you can go out there and ask a multitude of astrologers, and I strongly believe they will agree with me. Gemini doesn't necessarily have to be #1, but it's pretty much a consensus that the top 2 sexual signs are Gemini and Scorpio. And I explained before that Gemini represents intellectual sexuality as well as a youthful one. Okay, someone told me that curiosity and talking a lot. Of course, talking has nothing to do with sex, but what I'm trying to say is that Gemini gets off in a multitude of different sexual scenarios. Okay, so it's not all about. All right. So for those of you who have a hard time seeing that, you can go out there and ask other astrologers, and I think they'll agree with me. But of course, the consensus is that Scorpio is probably the most sexual sign. Doesn't really matter. What I wanted to do was revisit the list and basically just plug my holes because I seen where I was wrong at. Okay, and there's really no right or wrong, but I went back and I reviewed. I studied the energy. That's another thing. I didn't base this off a sun sign whatsoever. I based it off the energy, the way the energy expresses itself. And through the different planets, we'll see that sexuality goes outside. Your sexual nature is determined by much more than your sun sign, okay? So in my original video, I had Libra at #6, which I still stand by because it's ruled by Venus, okay, the planet of pleasure, and that is Venus's stronger sign, more comfortable sign, okay? So and it being the sign of relationships, obviously within romantic relationships, sex is a huge deal, okay? And overall, people who are ruled by Venus seek pleasure, all right? So I still hold Libra to be #6, but there's no real order. I'm just listing what I believe to be the top 6, okay? Now, at 5 in the original video, I had Cancer. And I had Cancer because it's the sign of home, the emotions, nurturing, and so much more. And the way in which sex is the full manifestation of feelings of those emotions. It serves as a release for those emotions. Cancer energy, when it comes to sex, that's what's making you connect. So I felt like Cancer was a very sexual sign, but after reviewing, I don't think it necessarily was in the top 6. So one of my replacements I'm going to put in, like I said, doesn't really matter what number. I'm going to put Taurus in, the other Venus rule sign. And when I went back in and looked at it, I was like, how did I overlook Taurus? They're an earth sign, they're ruled by Venus. So being an earth sign and then being ruled by Venus, they're all about sensations. They live through the senses. Sex probably feels so amazing for them. So, and not to mention, they're probably the most sensual sign. So I went back and thought about it. I said, wow, damn, I messed up on that one. So to all the Tauruses that, felt smited by me not adding you to the list, I apologize. You guys are indeed one of the most sexual signs. On my original list, I had Capricorn at number 4. And I stand by Capricorn. And I think anybody who's come into contact with a Capricorn knows that the sex drive is off the chain and that they're up for it anytime. Anytime. Just they walk around, being sexual or feeling horny all day. And, Christian Grey, in my mind, like I said before, is the Capricorn. So him and his bedroom games always come to mind when I think about Capricorn. You work hard, you play harder. All right. Third on the list, I had Sagittarius on the original list, and I had Sagittarius there. This could have been my most biased pick. Okay. As a Gemini, that being my opposite sign, I happen to attract a lot of Sagittarius, and I'm cool with a lot of Sagittarius. It might have been my most biased one, but indeed I believe that Sagittarius is still a sexual sign. But when I went back and I'm looking at other fire signs, I said, I don't know how I missed Leo. Like, Leo lives to express themselves in all facets of life. And of course, Leo being represented by the lion, which is indicative of our animal instincts, definitely makes Leo one of the most sexual signs. So that'll just tell you guys. And for those of you, who always want me to, make videos consistently, part of the reason I don't is so because I meditate upon the planets a lot. All right, trying to understand them. You can study astrology for 30 years and still gain new insights every day. So I guess on that particular day, man, I wasn't thinking. I don't know how I overlooked Leo. Leo is up there. So I would definitely plug Leo in. Shout out to all the Leos out there. And then we're back at the top 2. I had originally put Scorpio number I put Scorpio number 2, just because I felt they were more emotionally tied to their sexual relationships than Gemini, which is very detached. And I don't know how being detached, I don't know how that can make you non-sexual. All right. If you haven't experienced a Gemini or you're not cool with a Gemini, I don't think you can really understand. But those who have will stand by it. That Gemini is very sexual, very creative, and shout out to Leo again. I don't know how I overlooked you. You're some of the most creative lovers. When you talk about role playing in sex, that is Leo. That has Leo all over it. All right. But like I said, give or take, 1 or 2 can be Scorpio or Gemini, but I definitely believe they are by far the 2 most sexual signs. Okay, guys. So this was my new list of the top 6 sexual zodiac signs. We're going through trying to cover all the planets and things like that. Eventually, I do plan on getting into it and starting a whole series about sexual astrology. But bear with me, people. All right? I want to get everybody in here. We'll get the basics down, and then we'll move on. All right? So I hope you guys enjoy. If you haven't subscribed to my page, feel free to do so now. Until next time, peace.